It is time for another... Gotta roll for initiative, okay. Well, that's the end of today's video. Make sure you like, favorite, comment, subscribe. It always helps the channel. Until then, stay ghastly. Bye. For those who were not confused just now, hello, it is I, Hunt to Haunt, back at it again with another video. So, as of lately, I've been making teams for certain characters to have, like, you know, a team of Pokemon. Now, is this team perfectly balanced? No. Is this team 100% accurate and everyone will love? Probably not. Is it fun? Absolutely. And today, we are going to go over Pokemon teams for the characters of Vox Machina. Now you're probably wondering, well, who the heck is this Vox Machina? It's quite interesting, really. You see, a bunch of voice actors, such as Matt Mercer and other talented artists, gather around a table of dice, of dragons, of dungeons, and created a story. A tale of woe, if you will. And, thanks to Amazon Prime, they signed a little deal, and now it is a series you can go see. First 2 seasons are out, and their actual campaign is on Twitch and YouTube. Probably in other places I cannot think of because I'm not sponsored, because I'm a very small channel. However, because of my love of this D&D group, I have decided to make a team of Pokemon for each of the members. Except Tiberius, because, you know, I figured it was self-explanatory, and he's not on the show, and he just, because he's a sorcerer dragon, you give him dragon sorcerers, yeah, so there's that. I will, if this video is heavily liked, heavily commented, heavily subscribed by many people, and who knows, whatever, you guys, you know, want me to do next, I might also do as well. Empty cock. Without further ado, let's get started. First, on this list, we have Vexalia. She is a ranger who is an expert with a bow and arrow. So, naturally, the first Pokemon I'm going to give them is the starter, which is going to be Hisuian Decidueye. Apart from regular Decidueye, Hisuian Decidueye, while can fly and she has a broom that she's able to fly with, is also an archer. But, unlike most archers, Vexalia is also combat ready and can fight, much like a fighting type. So I feel like this one fits a little better than the ghost type. As well as I'm going to give her Ursaring because of Trinket, her pet bear. Yes, she has a pet bear. I'm jealous. Next, we're going to give her Mismagius because she does have some spells and she rides on a broom. I figured that was, you know, kind of fun to, like, throw in there. Weavile because she likes to pickpocket every now and then, become sneaky thievy and all that. I'm then going to give her Mandibuzz because she is sassy and, again, with the whole I'm flying thing, as well as, you know, vultures are scavengers, and they will scavenge for, like, dead things or near-dead animals, while, you know, she scavenges for loot. I figure that kind of fits. Not my best reason to give someone a Pokemon such as, but I figured it works. And then finally, Berserker. Now, I tried to look up for Pokemon with Persuasion, and sadly, the only thing that came up was Team Rocket's Meowth. So at first I was going to give her a Persian because I feel like that would fit a little bit. But then I remembered a certain scene I will not spoil. But, where she basically throws Grog, in a way. And because Grog is very Viking and barbarian looking, as Berserker is, as well as also being an evolution of a Meowth variant, I figured this also works pretty well. So that is Vexalia's team. Now for Vaxeldan's team. See, Vax, I'm going to give him the starter of Greninja, much as he is a rogue, and that is literally the trope they gave in Gen 6, with the starters being a knight, a witch, or spellcaster, and a rogue ninja. I feel like this is the perfect starter for him. much with the rogue speedster type of vibe. I also gave him, oh dear my, it appears I gave him 2 starters accidentally, but the guy has twin daggers, so like I said, the teams are not always accurate. I think he'll be fine with a Meowscarada. Look, that is my bad. That is my bad. I'll make sure not to do that again. But you know what? Fuck it. He gets 2 starters for once. You know, I mean, there's been a raid event in Pokemon Scarlet Violet. He caught the Greninja. It's fine. So yeah, same thing. Rogue-esque looking Pokemon. You know, being very quickly and having daggers, this Pokemon can abide by those similar attributes, and it learns Leaf Blade, so you know, it works. Also with the speed type of trope he has, I also gave him Boltund. You know, figured it also would work. Because he is a matron of ravens, I gave him Corviknight. Ravens. I also gave him Dusknoir because he's supposed to like shepherd the dead, but also like also sort of trying to say it without spoiling too much. Assist with fate, I guess we'll call it. Assist with fate. And Dusknoir is the Reaper of the Pokemon world leading to the afterlife. So I figured this works very well. And then finally I gave him Gallade, because, you know, it's very loyal, it's protective, much like it would be toward its master or to the internet, Gardevoir. And the reason I didn't give that to Gardevoir is I gave it to another player on the team, so wait for that. But yeah, for the Rogue Assassin, I figured this team would also work very well. Also, he's got like the blade hands, so it also works. Next, we're going to go to Percival. So, Percy is a gunslinger. And for his team, I actually had my help with, help with my list with my partner on this. So, first off, right off the bat, his starter, it's a Blastoise. He's got a gun. This thing has guns. Works. Next, because of the whole Plague Doctor mask he had, I gave him Aromatisse, because the whole tie-in with Plague Doctors, having good-smelling fragrances in the tip of their mask to mask out the sense of plague and death. And also, it looks Plague Doctor-ish looking, so I figured this would also work. I also gave him Tinkaton, because Tinkaton has constructed its armor with the bones of Corviknight, and with, you know, machine parts and stuff and metal items, is able to forge things, as Percy has forged many weapons by himself, so he's very smart. Never thought I'd give Percy 2 fairy types, but here we are. Next, because of tragic backstory, I gave him Luxray. Also, you know, he's got that new electric glove thing, so there's also that. I also gave him Houndoom because a demon possessed him. I'm doing my very best not to spoil a lot, but I can't help it with a lot of this. So, spoiler sort of warning is advised. And then I gave him Klinglang because he works with a lot of gears and contraptions, and this is literally a contraption-looking Pokemon in my brain. Next we have Grog. Grog is a barbarian. Strong, mighty, and loves ale. Sadly, there's no ale Pokemon, so we'll work with this team instead. First and foremost, I gotta give him Kleavor. It's literally big, strong, brooding axe, got the beard and everything, swinging around Unga Bunga style, you know, it's got that, you know, barbaric look to him. It's perfect for him, literally perfect. Next, we have Electivire because of the Titan Stone Knuckles, making electricity. This is a big dude who punches with electricity. It just fucking works. Next, for his starter, we have Emboar. It's big, it's strong, it's got the muscles, it fights for its friends, as its design of a demon pig who fights for its friend and is very loyal, so it just fucking fits. Also, it's got the whole belt thing. Grog has a belt, gives him a beard, it's all good. This thing has a beard of fire. It just freaking works. Next, I gave him Ceruledge because of that one sword he had, which could slice people and take its life force, much like Ceruledge's signature move. Next, I gave him Tyrantrum. It's big, it's strong, it's mighty, it's got more of the beard, and its ability is Strongjaw, much like Grog's last name, so I had to give it to him. And finally, I gave him Polyrath. It's big, it's muscly, it's strong, and it likes to... But next to Grog's best friend in the world, Pike. Pike is a cleric, I believe? Holy person. He deals with the powers of her Lord and Savior, Everlight, and grants her holy powers. She's a badass, she's a brute, she's a heavy drinker, but she also heals with divine faith as well. And she knows how to do her job right. So, her starter, I decided to give her Primarina. Despite being very feminine, I'd like to argue it is one of the strongest starters out there to have on your team. Very good. With that on her squad, I'd also, for similar reasons, like to give her Blissey as well as Gardevoir. Gardevoir being very loyal, protective, having healing powers, and supporting allies. Much like Blissey, healing and supporting allies. And just also, as these two are very feminine, I see them used a lot in competitive. Much like, Pike can get when in a drinking contest. Also depicting on the feminine but really tough side, I also gave her Rabombi. It's small, it's tiny, but it's a very powerful mon to have. And then I decided to give her Pawmot because, it's able to heal with its hands as they are defibrillators, and it learns the move Revival Blessing. So I figured it works. Also, it's fighting type, and like I said, Pike, despite being a divine healer of faith, knows how to kick someone's ass physically. And finally, a Pokemon I wasn't really expecting to give her, but I did, was Absol. Now, Absol is known to show up in certain areas of the world where destruction and disaster will probably happen. And in Season 1, Pike was able to, show up when a disaster was going to happen. All her friends were in big trouble. Again, trying not to spoil things, but I can't help but say certain things with these teams. However, Absol and Pike were able to do this feat very easily. Also, Absol's Mega Evolution gives it angelic wings, and I felt like that kind of fits Pike's aesthetic. So, never thought I'd give Pike an Absol and Percy 2 fairy types, but here we are. I also gave Vax 2 fucking starters. God damn it. Next we have Scanlan, the bard of the group, and a taste for the ladies he has. So we gotta give him that seduction Pokemon, Salazzle. That's right, Salazzle, with its good, seduction energy that it has, wooing its allies, over to its side, so it is able to gain the very desires it craves. Then for the starter, honestly, I'm going to do the starter last. So I'm going to show you the rest of the team. Toxtricity, it's purple, it has guitar-esque features, and knows how to summon lightning, which Scanlan is able to do. I gave it Barbaracle because, despite it being a barnacle, being of many barnacles in one cluster creature, it is made of hands, and Scanlan's signature move is... So, being literally the hand Pokemon, I figured this would fit Scanlan very well. Next is Zoroark, because I learned that Scanlan is able to shapeshift, and not for very long, but much like Zoroark, it's a simple illusion that works for a certain period of time. Next is Aegislash because of Myth Carver, so Bane with the blade and it's got it in its back pocket. And finally, it's Starter. If I'm to be completely honest, I couldn't think of one. Really difficult. what I did decide on was either Rillaboom, because Scalen's been seen to do percussion very well, or Skeledirge, because of its very good singing ability. So what I'm gonna have you guys do is decide which starter do you think Scalen deserves, the percussion Rillaboom or the singer Skeledirge. Make sure you comment down below. I'm really curious. Or if you think of a different starter Scalen had, I would love to hear it. Let's see what happens in the comments. Go there. Go now. Get off this video. What are you doing? Oh, wait, I see what you guys are doing. You are waiting for Keyleth, haha! Yes, of course. The backbone of the group, as I feel. She's the big gun. The nature magic throws for Keyleth, the druid, I think? I could be wrong on that. However, Keyleth has the elemental powers at her fingertips. Being an Arashari, I feel like she should definitely have a more wind element creature on her side. Yes, she has turned into a bird before with her nature magic. However, you know, she's an Arashari and she's able to master wind very well. I feel like she definitely deserves more the wind type versus I'm a bird and I can fly, part of the flying type. So I gave her Altaria because I figured that was pretty fitting. As far as her starter goes, I chose Incineroar. She has mastered her fire element, and one of her other favorite things to turn into is a tiger. So, as you can see, very fitting. She is able to move the earth very well, so I decided to give her Gagarnacle and Trevenant. Now, while plants are usually an earth-type symbol, she is more able to talk to plants as well as just bend them at her will, convince them, you know, ask, hey, can you lend me aid in this? And plants do agree, and I feel like Trevenant being a literal tree would fit this very well. She hasn't mastered water yet in the animated series, so I gave her Lapras because I have seen her actually bend ice a little better than bending water, and I feel like this is a very beautiful, charming, loyal Pokemon that is also an ice type as much as it is a water type to assist with that. And finally, I gave her Oranguru because it's a guru of the forest. It assists and aids Pokemon and plants wherever it goes, and it makes herbs that assist with its, you know, allies that need assistance. So, like I said, these Pokemon teams aren't exactly, you know, type balanced as much as I would like them to be, but I feel like these Pokemon, you know, fit very well with these characters. But wait, we're not done. No. There is one individual I would love to also give a team, and that is the DM himself, Matt Mercer. That's right, he gets his own fucking team. And being a DM of Dungeons & Dragons means he's gonna get Dungeons & Dragons type of tropes. For example, you can't have too many D&Ds without, you know, say, the dark forces of evil, a vampire lord, a shadowy figure, doppelganger perhaps, so I figured I'd give him a Gengar. I figured being literally a Gengar, doppelganger, was, you know, fitting for this, and being a lot of tropes of some mischievous little ghostly figures of the afterlife, I figured this would fit pretty well. Now, debating between the Mimic type of Pokemon being Among Us or Gimmighoul, I decided to give him Electro, the OG Mimic-esque type of Pokemon. Try to pick up a Pokeball on the ground and boom, it's a bomb! You know what, why don't we just get right to its starter? It's Charizard. You can't have Dungeons & Dragons without the dragon, and this is, you know, representing the Chroma Conclave. Such a cool name. But yeah, Fiery Dragon. Oh, but it's not a dragon. No, that's fine, that's fine. We have to have something representing weapons, right? So I gave him Baxcalibur, an actual dragon type, and it is a sword, in fact. So I figured Baxcalibur also fits well with this team, you know, being a big old monster, you know, roaming around, powerful weaponry if you defeat it, I guess. Lost in ice, you know, I feel like a lot of magical weapons are like trapped in some kind of cavern or ice cave prison of some sort, so yeah, I feel like this fits very well. Next we're gonna go to Bastiodon, because Bastiodon is a bastion and, you know, resembles of a castle, the ultimate defense. And Vox Machina fucking hates doors. Its face looks like a door. You're welcome. So As for its final Pokemon, a lot of D&D campaigns have a lot of like different types of classes of characters and warriors from all around. And with that warrior, I chose Pangoro because it indeed is a warrior, a fighting type. It fights for its friends and allies despite being aggressive and such. Also because Matt Mercer also voices a JoJo character, and you know, this is very JoJo looking. But that's not the point of this. The point is that this thing is a very warrior-esque type of feel, and I feel like you can't have a D&D campaign without your character. And I feel like this is definitely a good old character-looking Pokemon. And that is all of the Pokemon teams for Vox Machina. Make sure you definitely go check out their D&D campaigns, as well as the show if you're pretty much interested. I freaking love it, I want more of it, and I'm enjoying each D&D campaign as I'm rewatching. Now, I try not to involve the D&D campaign too much, or spoilers ahead for the show, despite me kinda doing that. Besides, I feel like that these are a very interesting team for these guys to, you know, work with if they were Pokemon trainers. So, what Pokemon do you think they should have instead? What Pokemon do you agree with? And what starter do you think Scallon should have? Let me know in the comments below. And who do you think I should make a team for next? I'm very interested. So, until then, my fellow Ghost Type Nation, stay ghastly. Roll for initiative. Bye.